9 straight losses, but Sparty's lost its last 2, including the game against Illinois on Saturday. They didn't have Kalen Lucas because he'd hurt that ankle earlier in the week. Hey, Steve Lavin, how effective will Lucas be?
Kalen Lucas probably at 60%. And what's critical is we'll have to watch his ability to make quick starts, stops, change of direction, change of speed.
Anybody notice Lav is using less product in his hair?
I'm going to have a talk with him.
I think it's an environmental thing. Lucas came in with about 5.5 to go in the game, changes direction, the lay-in, but you can see that he is limping a bit. Jawan Johnson, as he goes, so goes Purdue. Deep jumper right there. Then he's going to go in the post, hit the turnaround. And then Robbie Hummel's going to find John. He doesn't have to call me Johnson. Purdue up 11 after a 13-0 run. Johnson had 19. It's not a Purdue highlight without Hummel hitting a 3 from way far away. Purdue up 14 at the half. Again, they haven't won in this building in 9 years. Or actually from 98, 9 straight losses. Oh, and here come Tom Izzo's team. Chris Allen, Spartans down 8 after the freebie. Then Lucas is going to the hole. But he's hurting. Made the free throws. Allen's going to come in and knock down another 3, and Sparty's going to be down 3, and all of a sudden we're like, you know what, this might be our top game of the night. And then Etwan Moore said, no, you got that wrong. I'm the top player in this game on the night. Hits the 3, Purdue up a 6-pack, and then Moore finds Hummel. Down low, layup. Moore going to go for a season-high 25. It's very big to get them here, was his thoughts afterwards. 76-64. Boilermakers. 13th ranked Wisconsin, 51-0 at home against unranked Big Ten opponents under Bo Ryan. Visiting Illinois, unranked, but the Illini have handed Coach Ryan 2 of his 5 conference home losses. All right, we got McCamey and Hughes. We got two young studs going here, and Hughes going to convert the 4-point play in the first half. Badgers up 22-11. They look fine. Hughes on defense now gets stuck underneath, and McCamey going to go to the hole. Illinois, though, was down 9. We got under a minute to go in the first half. Illinois down 2. McCamey, deep 3 with a second left on the shot clock. Fighting Illini take the lead, but here comes Hughes. He had 12 points. Beat the shot clock right there. Coach Ryan's club is at 2 at the half, but, man, it is all Illinois after that. McCamey bounced past Bill Cole. Going to take the lead on the old-fashioned 3. 22 in the win against Michigan State. McCamey goes for 27 in this one, 63-56. No one beats them here, was what Bruce Weber said after. No, Coach.
Jay Cutler on hand to watch Tennessee and Vandy. You know, Cutler picked off twice Tuesday just while sitting.
That is so wrong.
You would think that would be hard to do. Jeffrey Taylor on fire. His coach said he thought he was on the verge of something big going in, and boy, did he deliver. 16 points for Taylor in the first half. Jimmy Dykes, break it down.
Scotty Hopson up here is going to stare at that basketball and watch what happens as he ball watches. Backdoor cut, there it is. He's watching the ball, and you lose contact with your guy that you're guarding, either physically or with your eyes. Vanderbilt will make you pay.
You listen closely to Jimmy Dykes, you'll learn something every time out. Commodores open the game on a 10-2 run. Taylor getting the friendly roll at home. It's 20-6 Vanderbilt. Lance Goulburn. Oh, backwards finger roll. Give him extra points for difficulty. Vanderbilt up 16, second half. Scotty Hopson loses the ball. Tinsley comes up with it. Here come the Commodores. They dish to Taylor, career high 26. They roll 90-71. They've won 17 straight at home. Kentucky 14-0 at home, hosting Alabama. John Wall, career low 6 points over the weekend against LSU. And Coach Calipari thought the freshman may have been pressing a little bit, and the struggles continued. Suffered back-to-back turnovers, did Wall. Coach Calipari says, excuse me, a word? But Wall comes back, and so did his mojo. Part of an 11-2 Kentucky run. They take a 2-point lead. A little bit later in the half, look at this play. Oh, it's the Iceman, John Wall. Look at the freshman doing some things. Behind the back, and one. Hit the free throw. Wildcats up 5. Second half, it's more from the freshman phenom. 22 points, 10 rebounds, but Coach Calipari wasn't thrilled by his 6 turnovers. He did have 2 assists. Beautiful run right there to Daniel Orton. for the dunk and the harm. Kentucky wins by 11. First career double-double by Providence on Tuesday. Now that's center, Georgetown center Greg Monroe. 12 career double-doubles, but none have included assists in that stat line. His team down 8 in the second half, and Monroe just starts giving at the office. Nice dish there to Chris Wright. Career high 12 assists for him. Jay Billis, how far can Georgetown go?
Greg Monroe is one of the most versatile players in the country and an outstanding playmaking big man. I think Georgetown, behind Monroe, can go to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament, but unless they start rebounding better, their first shot defense is fine, but they gave up 22 offensive rebounds against Providence. They have got to rebound the ball with all 5 guys to the defensive glass.
But Greg Monroe, career high 12 assists Tuesday. Here's the backbreaker in what was a close game. Monroe, the layup and the foul. Georgetown wins by 9. Monroe, 12 points, and as I mentioned, 12 assists. They have lost 6 of their last 7 going into Wednesday, but they've dominated their rival Duke, beating the Dukies 6 of their last 7. Tyler Hansbrough, his number 1550 jersey, being retired, joining 7 other Tar Heels with that honor. Frustrating season for Roy Williams. Quote, "It's the only time in my life where I've been frustrated about my team not playing hard enough," unquote. But his players had flashes of inspirational play on Wednesday. Marcus Ginyard misses and then shows the hustle with the putback. Carolina up 1. John Shire driving. John Henson says no, sir. Heels had 12 blocks as a team. Duke 9 of 40 from the field of the first half. Larry Drew to Will Graves. That's good. He had a team-high 13. Heels within 1. Next possession, Duke comes right back. It's Shire, the pull-up 3. Devils 9 of 18 from deep. Shire up ahead to Nolan Smith. Duke up 6. Shire was the man. Game-high 24. 5 of 9 from 3. Duke really struggled from inside the arc, but they'll take the win. 64-54. Here's Shire. Syracuse meeting for the first time since that 6 overtime game in the Big East tournament last March. Syracuse, 10-game winning streak, off to the best start in school history. Let's flash it back to March of 09. 6 overtimes in the Big East tournament. The Orange won by 10. Second longest game ever played in D1 history. Closing seconds first half. Scoop Jardine. Scoop to the hoop off the top of the backboard, and it goes in. Look at this. Friendly roll. SUathletics.com. Syracuse led 37-30 at the break. Second half, it was a big one for Jerome Dyson. 13 of his 19 in the second half, and we're tied at 65. All right, same score, less than a minute to play. Andy Routens misses the 3. Rick Jackson, good work to get the board. Jardine takes a quick shot, but hold up. Jim Boeheim had called timeout, and his team holds on to possession. Take another look. Watch Boeheim. Timeout, 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 timeout. Jardine, his coach was saving his bacon because that wasn't a great shot. Syracuse holds on to the ball. Now, here's the rule for timeouts. A timeout shall be granted and charged after a player or head coach makes a visual or oral request, and when a player of that team's in control of the ball, when the ball is at the disposal of the player, or when the ball is dead. Jay Billis, was that the correct call?
I don't think that this was administered properly by the official. Boeheim had made the request when Scoop Jardine still had the ball, but the timeout was not granted before he had released the ball. That's why I think the officials made an error in this particular case.
So Syracuse maybe gets a lucky break there. Inbounds after the timeout. Stanley Robinson called for grabbing Wesley Johnson's jersey. That sends Johnson to the free throw line. He hits both. Syracuse shot 82% from the line on Wednesday. They have a 2-point lead, 21 seconds. Dyson took some big shots, hit some big shots. This maybe wasn't the best shot considering the situation, as Syracuse wins its 11th straight game, 72-67.
In the conference, if the Buckeyes win at Indiana, Evan Turner, huge. 26 points, about 7 boards, 6+ assists over the last 3 games. But that's his second foul. We're early in the game, so you're to the bench for the rest of the half. How are the Buckeyes going to do without their best player? Let's find out. William Buford going to answer that. Just fine, thank you. Buckeyes outscore the Hoosiers 40-28 in the paint. How about the alley-oop to Dallas Lauderdale, who had a huge game? Buckeyes up 14 at the half. Tom Crean said he was looking for Dr. Phil at halftime. Turner back in the second half, and Ohio State's going to outscore Indiana 18-3 off the turnover. Turner to Buford, dunk. Buford 21 points. Turner then going to go alley-oop to Lauderdale for the dunk. Lauderdale matches his career highs in points, rebounds, and blocks, 14, 8, and 7. And then what about Turner? When it's all said and done, as he feeds Lauderdale again, 10 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists in 21 minutes. 69 against St. Mary's. These two teams not real fond of each other, despite all that you see there. Gonzaga beat them by 7 on the Gales home court earlier. Matt Bolden, 3 at the buzzer. Zags up 3 at the half, and Mark Few's halftime speech was better than Randy Bennett's because it was all Zags in the second half. Bolden, another 3. And then it's time to get slapped. Omar Samhan. Robert Sacre! At the other end, Bolden. He does this as well as anybody for a guard. Goes to the hole like that. He had 18 points. Gonzaga up 2 touchdowns. And Elias Harris. This kid can play. Especially when he's got a shot like that. 19 points for him, 80-61. Gonzaga takes over first place.
Little FYI here as Louisville was taking on St. John's. Pitino's college record significantly better than his marks in the NBA. Red Storm started the game on a 12-zip run. Later, here's Justin Burrell and 1. St. John's 33-21 after the free throw. They honored the 84-85 Final Four team. Luke Carnesecca, Walter Berry, Chris Mullen and company. Now, Norm Roberts led by 10 at the break, but his team has lost 6 games this season when leading at the half. Burrell doing his best to prevent that. Inside, 40-31 St. John's. He had 14. He also had some assists. DJ Kennedy, he led the Red Storm with 15. Here's the throwdown. St. John's up 10. Anthony Mason Jr. on the business end from Kennedy. St. John's snaps a season-high 5-game losing streak. There's Anthony Mason Sr., 74-55.
Let me see your Louisville St. John's raise you Notre Dame Seton Hall, because the Irish got Luke Herringody, and if you've watched him play, he is fun to watch. Number 3 scorer in the nation at just under 25 points, 10-plus rebounds, but you can see that he goes down right there on the right knee.
Ooh.
I mean, this dude is the straw that steers the Irish coffee. Trainers told him afterwards he should be okay, but he was out for the rest of the ballgame, so they had to go about 8.5 without him, and Seton Hall's going to take advantage. Jeremy Hazel, 3. Jeremy Hazel, 3. Jeremy Hazel, 1 shot ain't enough, Jack. You better make it 3. 8 of 11 from 3, 35 points overall, but the Irish with 2 shots to send it into overtime. There's 1.
Oh.
There's 2. There won't be a 3rd. Seton Hall, 90-87.
Cal began the night with a 1-game lead over 5 teams in the Pac-10, including Washington. Huskies 0-6 on the road, and their head coach, Lorenzo Romar, thinks why. Said, quote, "This year with our kids out of the house, my wife's been going on the road trips. We may just leave her home." Bad news from the Huskies. Mrs. Romar made the trip. Wife doesn't listen to you, huh, Coach? You're preaching to the choir. Jerome Randall with the blow-by. Washington tries a quick counter. Abdul Gaddy, off the backboard. Back the other way, Jorge Gutierrez. Tough sequence for the Huskies. Cal up by 3. Second half, Randall just making defenders look ridiculous. Hits the 3. Second 30-point game of the season, 3rd of his career, 33 as Cal gets the win, 93-81.
All right, let's keep it in the Pac-10. Arizona and Oregon in the desert. Now, the Wildcats began the day tied for second with 4 other teams. Sean Miller's their coach. First half, Wildcats up 4. Nick Wise, he sees an opening, splits the defenders, and he had 10 points at the half. Arizona up 8 at the intermission. Has not been a ducky season for Oregon. Second half, how about the freshman Derek Williams? From Wise for the dunk. And then Wise drives, Williams dunk. Robert, now, were those pajama jams?
Yes, like the Keith Van Horn Jammy Jam.
Another one by Williams, who scored 11 of his 20 in the first 3.5 minutes of the second half. He's the freshman from La Mirada, California. There's Solomon Hill, the freshman. He can dunk as well. Freshmen score the first 32 of 34. Ohio Valley Conference, what a finish. I mean, 6 seconds play. Eastern Illinois down 1 with the ball. Eric Laser loses it. Moorhead Steve Peterson comes up with it, calls a timeout, and oh no, they had no timeout. Donnie Tyndall, pregame meal, not agreeing with him. Laser goes to the free throw line. He made the first to tie it. He makes the second. Eastern Illinois leads, 1 second left on the clock, and Moorhead going to be unable to do anything with it. So you feel sorry for the kid who called the timeout. Eastern Illinois, 76-75.
Pitt round 1 was nasty. Remember that? Thanks to the Mountaineer Maniacs. Bob Huggins had to speak up.
Hey, don't throw anything on the floor. You're going to hurt one of the players, hurt one of the... That's stupid. That is stupid.
Yeah, Pitt assistant coach Tom Harrion hit by a coin thrown from the stands. West Virginia won that game huge. Let's go back to Friday at Pitt. Under a minute to go in regulation, Pitt down 5. Trayvon Woodall makes things interesting from there. Pitt within 3, the ensuing inbound. The ball will be knocked away, and Brad Wanamaker will get it. He'll get it around to Ashton Gibbs finally, and Gibbs gets a great look to tie the game with under 30 seconds to go. Take another look. Wanamaker balancing on the sideline. Did he step out of bounds? Well, you be the judge, but there was no call, so whatever. Chance to win it for West Virginia. Darrell Bryant, the ball is in his hands. The pull-up Jay? No. Out of bounds to Pitt. 1.6 seconds to go. What do you have? Gibbs. The half-court shot is all he's got, and it doesn't go. Pitt scored 9 points in the final minute of regulation to send it into OT. We're tied there, of course. Gilbert Brown. He had 16 points. Pitt takes a 2-point lead under a minute to go in the first overtime, which fired up the bench. Under 15 seconds to go, Deshaun Butler couldn't make everything. Gibbs with a rebound, and he's fouled. Gibbs had 24 points. Pitt with a chance to put it away. After making the first free throw to give Pitt a 3-point lead, Gibbs misses the second. West Virginia, here we go the other way. Bryant, 3 to tie. 3 of his 20. 1.4 seconds to go in the first overtime. Wanamaker, the desperation heave-ho, no. We go to a second overtime, even though Wanamaker had career highs in points and assists. Second overtime action, under 30 seconds to go. West Virginia down 3. Butler misses the 3. Are you kidding me? He's fouled, so 3 free throws are coming. The Pitt assistant Tom Harrion in shock after making the first 2. Butler hits the third. Deshaun Butler, 32 points, 11 rebounds, tie game. After a timeout, Jamie Dixon calls up the play. Wanamaker, no, the putback won't go. Woodall, the turnaround Jay at the buzzer. It falls, but I heard a buzzer. Yes, take another look. Woodall still has the ball in his hands when the clock hits 0. Third overtime, here we go. The third in West Virginia's history, second for Pitt. West Virginia down 1, under 20 seconds to go. Devin Ebanks. No, Gary McGee brings down the rebound. He gets it to Gibbs, who is fouled. So after making the first free throw, Gibbs, money, hits the second. Pitt up 3. Last chance for West Virginia. Bryant, his shot is shy. McGee gets the rebound, and Pitt hangs on to win. The longest backyard brawl in the history of the rivalry, said Bryant. This game probably puts Pitt in the NCAA.
Cornell unbeaten in league play on the road in Philly to play Penn, a squad that is 3-15 early on. Cornell in the second half having some trouble. Lewis Dale, I have that as an ill-advised pass. Cornell struggling, Penn rolling. Let's check out Zach Rosen's stroke. Oh, it's on. 47-31 Penn. Buster Douglas bounced around the building Friday. He knows the score.
20 years ago this week, I was an underdog taking on Mike Tyson, the best in the world. Friday, Penn was an underdog taking on Cornell, the best in the Ivy League. If there's one thing I've learned, was to be the best, you have to beat the best and come out swinging.
All right, let's get tough. Penn taking Buster's advice. Dale drives. Jeff Foote grabs the rebound, gets wrapped up there by Mike Howlett, and down they go. I'm not sure that's boxing or MMA or human cockfighting or wrestling, whatever it is. This shows Quakers meant business. Later, Rosen penetrates, gets it to Jack Eggleston, who had 24. Rosen 22. Quakers win at 79-64. Storm that court. Cornell got Princeton Saturday night.
Siena unbeaten in the MAC, taking on Niagara. 21-4 Saints overall. Big reason why the Saints are so good is Ronald Moore. Let's meet him, shall we? Ronald Moore, senior guard from Conshohocken, Pennsylvania. Yes, he leads the nation with 8 assists per game. That's ahead of John Wall of Kentucky, who was second. And Ronald Moore is one of 11 finalists for the Bob Cousy Award given to the nation's top point guard. First half, Moore showing his quickness, taking the inbounds, driving up the floor, taking under 4 seconds to go coast to coast, then sharing to Clarence Jackson. Moore finished with 6 assists. Niagara went on a big run in the second half, highlighted by Kashif Edwards. Edwards in the paint, then in transition. Edwards throwing down the two-handed jam. The end of a 27-9 run. Niagara up 17. Edwards a season-high 20 points. Late in the game, something you don't normally see. You might see this. Ryan Rossiter fouled hard by Demetrius Williams, but check this out. While Rossiter's at the line, you need to glance over there at Williamson. He starts untying his shorts. Then a few seconds later, Williamson pulls his shorts all the way down. Apparently, he was trying to tuck in his jersey. At least that's what we're guessing. Meanwhile, as for the final score, Niagara wins big, and Siena no longer unbeaten in the MAC.